The Battleface podcast is broadcast live on Fridays and Sundays, and we encourage you to come hang out and chat with Bard and Dare live. Now, prepare to declare attacks. You are entering the Battle Phase.
Dude, on YouTube, there's hashtag birthplace. There's just a billion.
Yeah, but
I can kind of see why he's like trying to get everyone taken down.
Yeah,
because there is so many videos.
Yep. But, hello everyone, you have entered the battle phase. It is I, the Midnight Bard, your favorite bard. And joining me as always is somebody who is getting a kick out of one of the stories we're going to talk about today, Dareinger.
Nope, that's not me. That's not me. Why, you made it the thumbnail too.
I made it the thumbnail too. Before we begin, please remember to like, summon, share. It's the easiest way to help the podcast grow. And what are we up to today, Dare? What have we been up to this week? What have you been up to this week? Tell me about your week. I'm interested.
I've done nothing. That's it. That's it. Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Absolutely nothing.
No. Well, I've been watching Trigun Stampede. It's the reworking of the classic anime Trigun. Like, the story is, I mean, it has the bare bones of what the story was originally, but for the most part, everything else is different. Like, character designs have changed.
Is it called Trigun because his gun has 3 barrels, or is it called Trigun because he has 3 guns?
You know, I wish I knew. I want to say that the 3 guns is the correct answer because eventually he is in possession of 3 guns, but I honestly don't think that was the significance here. I don't know.
So he's Zoro from One Piece, but with guns.
Yeah, exactly. It's Zoro from One Piece, but with guns. I honestly don't know why it was called Trigun. I don't know. You know, it's like, it sounds like there should be 3 guns, but like there isn't. Like, he's got 1 gun and then his arm is a gun. But at the same time, I don't know. His 1 gun.
There's a guy in the black that has, like, is that like not a triple gun thing there, or is that like a sword?
It is a gun, but it's a gun that eventually falls into the possession of our main character. So I think that's what they were going for, but honestly, I don't know.
There's answer, Trigun, 3 guns.
Yeah, so anyway, Trigun Stampede is a reworking of the original anime. It, like I said, it's got the basic framework, like the plot elements are all there, but we've changed a lot. You know, like some characters have disappeared; they don't exist anymore. Some other characters appear in cameos. And some characters' motivations and personalities have changed entirely. And I don't know if this is meant to be more accurate to the manga. I've never read the manga. So all I know is that it's different from the anime that I watched in the early 2000s. And normally, you know, you have kind of like a knee-jerk reaction whenever people do that, like a reboot of something that you love. And you know, it's just completely different from what it was originally. But this one, not bad. Actually, I kind of enjoy it. It's different, but not in a bad way. It's different in a way that you can get behind. Like, the animation, it's CGI. So, you know, CGI anime always has that stigma that it can look kind of ugly. But this one is very good. Like, the characters' expressions are just fantastic. You know, it's almost like, how would I say this? You don't lose anything from translating this from a drawn medium to a computer animated medium. It's all there. All of the expressiveness, all of the plasticity that you can get away with whenever you're drawing something, you know, in a 2D medium. So it's really, really good. There's some things that have been kind of breezed over story-wise, and part of me kind of hopes that they'll come back to it later. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2, presently I'm on episode 9 of 12, and I hope there is a season 2 because it is really good. Um, there is a lot more menace from the bad guy. In the initial anime, the bad guy felt like this mysterious figure that you kind of learned about like midway through the series, and then you kind of worked up to him all the way at the end. But he was never like a presence, more as he was like this idea behind all of the bad things that happen in the show until you meet him face to face. And now, he makes his presence known very early in the show, like as early as episode 4, I think. And he is a menacing motherfucker, wielding a weapon that I can best describe as a razor tentacle. It's kind of wild. He's kind of like a blade bender, if that makes any sense. But characters are good. The main character, I was worried that he would lose a lot of what made him unique from the original anime, but no, he's got everything. They even got the original voice actor Johnny Young Bosch to come back and reprise his role. And so there's the goofiness, there's the stoicness, and there's the sadness all in this character, and it's just it's really really good. Some characters have changed a lot. Like, for example, the guy in the black here, Wolfwood, he seems a lot more angry. Originally, he wasn't like a foil to our. I mean, he was a foil to our main character, but he was also kind of like a goofball of equal measure until like the story starts picking up for both of them. In which case, they become kind of different people, right? But in this one, he's kind of an angry guy right out of the gate. And I'm like, I'm not against it. It's fine. He is who he is. Um. So yeah, I don't know. I would say Trigun Stampede on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it like a solid 7 thus far. It's pretty great. It's different enough so that it's a completely new thing, but it's similar enough so that you don't lose anything of what made the original special, which I feel is kind of like a really really tricky rope to walk.
You said stigma, and the only thing on my mind is stigma balls in your mouth.
I saw you light up for a second. I thought you were gonna say something. Uh,
Yeah, I was the whole time you were describing. I was like, I'm not gonna ruin this for him. But as soon as he stops,
Brother Gamma is in the chat, and he is surprised that I said bad motherfucker. How far into the show were we when I said that? Did we pass YouTube guidelines? I think they said you have.
I don't know. I don't know. I was like holding it back for so long though.
Because they said you gotta wait 8 minutes, but before you could drop an F-bomb, and we're at 8 minutes. We're at 9 minutes now, so hopefully we passed that. But whatever. It is what it is. Let's see. Pia Nightmares is here. What are you talking about, Bard? We are talking about Trigun Stampede. It is the what's it called, reboot to the early 2000s, late 1990s anime Trigun. It's really good. And so, like I've been watching it. I'm up to episode 9. It's pretty great. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
He also got a D's nuts jokes
and Dare also hit me with a D's nuts joke. Yeah, it's so we're gonna move on to in anime and entertainment, and Dare, you asked me to talk about this new game that has dropped, which is Pal World. It's a new game that's come out. And
it's a new game with an original concept that's never been done before on any other game.
Yeah, new game, original concept. No other game has ever done this before. We have never seen a catch 'em all. What's it called? We have never seen a catch 'em all mechanic in a game, or a monster collector mechanic. But here we are. Pal World, and I gotta tell you, as soon as this game dropped, I got so many messages from people saying like, "Oh man, you have got to see these TikToks about this new game that's out, and it's amazing, and it's great, and it's Pokemon for adults." Which anytime that somebody says that, like anytime somebody says it's this for adults,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
immediately have like a you know.
What kind of person do you think I am?
Yeah, really. So I immediately have like that knee jerk reaction. It's like, okay, well, what is there sex in it now? Is there guns in it now? And lo and behold, there's guns. So I was like, yeah, there it is.
So, yeah, it's Pokemon,
Uh-huh.
but like I don't know. The first knee jerk reaction is to say it's Pokemon at Home because it's just like a rip off
Mm.
like of Pokemon. Which yes, I saw the slides that you put later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the Pokemon and pals have similarities,
Mm-hmm.
and the game is similar in the way that you are exploring this open world um, and catching the different pals and then going and fighting what are essentially gyms.
Yeah.
But like there's more to the game than that because it's an open world sandbox. So there's like a building aspect to it where you're going around and you make a base and you can have the pals work in the base to like collect wood, collect stone,
Mm-hmm.
collect food. They, if you get far enough into the game, I'm at a point where I can have like automatic assembly of certain things
Mm-hmm.
being done. Um, there's like they borrow a lot of things from a lot of games, so
Right. Yeah,
like
that's true.
it's a little criminal to say that it's Pokemon
It is.
because it's a shit ton of different games. Because like I think you also have later on images of a side by side of like Fortnite,
So
which
let's
a
get
lot
into
of
that. So,
yeah
firstly, before we move into that, PA says Trigun was the shit back in the day. It is one of my favorite anime to this day. I would say, like, I always had a hard time picking Trigun over, like, say, for example, like my top favorites back in the day was like Outlaw Star, Trigun, and Rurouni Kenshin. And choosing Outlaw Star is my favorite, and choosing between Trigun and Rurouni Kenshin for number two was always hard for me. But Trigun was always like the one that I favored most. So I was like, yeah, Trigun, it's Trigun, and Rurouni Kenshin unfortunately is third, which is weird for me because I'm super huge into like samurai and stuff. So like that always felt weird. But anyway, so yes, it's like Fortnite but Pokemon. It's developed by a company called Pocket Pair.
yeah
It has a very positive review on Steam with 21,886 ratings at the time of this. It appears to have elements of Pokemon, Monster Hunter, Harvest Moon, Fortnite, and other things.
it's up to 30,000 reviews now.
It's up to 30,000.
It's yeah very positive.
Nice, very nice. So yeah, like it is kind of like just a hodgepodge of a lot of really popular games, right? Because number one, it has the monster capture mechanic that Pokemon does, as we can see in this screen cap that I have here. It's got a third person shooter type system, like akin to
Yeah,
Fortnite and stuff.
yeah,
Um,
the whole game is in third person,
right,
and like I said, it's an open world sandbox. So
right.
there's like
It's a little
Fortnite
Breath of the
aspects.
Wild.
There's building Breath of the Wild, sure, uh, but like the main draw of it is it is it is Pokemon
Right,
because like you have here, there are different elements to the Pokemon. They each have their weaknesses to other elements.
right.
Uh, you have like boss monsters that you can find out in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
the world, which are like the normal PAL monsters, but they're scaled up,
Yeah.
and you can catch everything.
No, I've
There
noticed.
are
It was one of
there
the
are
things that I mentioned that people sent me a bunch of TikToks of it, right? And one of the TikToks was like, "Oh, hey, you know how in Pokemon you cannot, what do you call it, catch an opposing trainer's Pokemon? Well, in Pal World, you absolutely can. You can absolutely 100% catch
In
somebody
Power World,
else's."
you can catch the opposing trainer.
That's true. Yes, in Pal.
I they're the first bad guys you come across are called the Syndicate Thugs,
Hmm.
and just Zoe's probably like the cutest boss. I don't care what you say, but
I gotta
the
go
Syndicate
look at this
Thugs.
Zoe now.
It's look, Zoe and Grisbolt is like the first boss,
Hmm.
but I threw a Powerball at one of the low level Syndicate Thugs, and I caught the low level Syndicate Thug, and now it it's funny, but it also kind of makes me mad because the guy has a pistol, but he doesn't use the pistol to hit. He like punches people with the pistol, and it's like just just shoot him. Just
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 shoot
put the
him.
bullets in the
What are you
just put the
doing?
bullets in the thing and shoot him.
Put the bullets in the thing. Shoot him. Uh, all right. So real quick here. Hold on just a second. I gotta hit a couple of keys here because you piqued my curiosity and I had to go looking, and now I went looking, and so this is Zoe.
Yeah, that's Zoe, and then Grisbolt
Is the
is
Electivire looking motherfucker
the Electivire with a minigun.
with a minigun? Yes.
Hers does not have a minigun,
uh,
but I am patiently awaiting for when I can get an Electivire with a minigun.
so with what would I have to say about this is I will have to go looking for art later regarding this. But anyway,
Whoa,
Pal
whoa!
World
This is
is
Pokemon for adults. What are you talking about?
Pal World. It sounds like a really interesting thing, and I love it whenever like companies just like do create something that's like, hey, you know what? This is based on something we love, something that we really enjoyed as in our youth, and we just basically like put a new spin on it. And this seems to be that, but for a lot of different things. My and you mentioned like the slides that I put up, but like my main gripe is that it looks really derivative. So like if you look Fortnite and Pal World side by side, it's really
Yes,
like you
I
can.
don't know if it was made in the same engine or not, and they
Right,
just used all of the assets that were in the engine.
right.
But if you also look at these two pictures, looking at the Power World thing,
Mhm.
it looks really good.
No, yeah, Pal World
Like
looks
the
really
art
good.
style and everything of that game, the game looks beautiful.
Right.
Like some of the pals look kind of weird
Hmm.
and like really anime esque, and with like the
Yeah,
like your
compared to the
scenery and
rest of the
background,
world, right? Yeah, it feels like they kind of pop out a little bit. Uh,
which is a good thing in some place.
right.
Helix says depresso.
Yeah, no,
That,
he
that
says
that's
art
like
in
that's
quotation marks.
well, depresso is actually a Pokemon or it's a pal that you can catch.
Oh, is it?
And the first time I saw it, I was like, "Wow, it's me, but it's a Pokemon."
It's me, but a Pokemon. So like just a couple of things that I happen to catch and to draw a comparison between is like, wow, that's not familiar. Like Houndoom and whatever this pal is named.
Yeah,
Kind
I'm
of
not gonna be able to tell you. It's like Incinerare or something like that.
right. We got Staraptor and Staraptor at home.
That's Nightwing.
uh, and we have Lucario and Egyptian Lucario.
I've not seen that one, so I don't even know what that one is.
Yeah, so like it's kind of the thing, like I like the concept of it. Like whenever like I said, somebody says, "Hey, it's this but for adults," and it's just like, what did they add that makes it adult? And it's like guns. I'm like, fine. It's like, like, oh, do we have dark themes? Do we explore the nature of human being in a very mature and like and
Do we do we have do we fuck the Pokemon?
do we
Is that what
fuck
we
the
do with
Pokemon?
this? No, you don't.
That's kind like because that's where my mind goes. I was like, oh, it's more adult themed. Is it like, well, how are we doing this? Like plot wise, like philosophically, is it violence and guns? It's usually violence and guns. Do we do we fuck the Pokemon in this one? Like all these questions pop up, and it's like it's the guns, and I was like, oh, okay, it's the guns.
Uh, so okay, I guess guns are cool.
Yeah, guns are cool.
Helix does point out. He said that they have shinies in this too,
Oh, neat.
which uh, some of the shinies are different colors. Some of the shinies are just different sizes. So like my profile picture on Discord right now is one called Lamball, and it's a little ball of wool. It's like a little sheep.
Yeah.
I caught a shiny one this morning that is like almost twice my size, and it's just the best thing ever, and I love it.
Well, that's great.
But pretty much everything that Pokemon has, this game has too, because like you can go around the world and find a bunch of eggs, and you can put them in an egg incubator and hatch your own Pokemon. You can make a breeding pen and put a male and a female Pokemon in it and get eggs from that. There's actually no, I don't think this game has a bicycle. So Pokemon does have bicycles.
It
But
has
this
like
game,
the Breath of the Wild paraglider.
yeah, it does. It has multiple ones because you can build upgraded versions of it. And it has like a hot and cold mechanic from like Breath of the Wild, where certain areas you'll need to wear like insulated clothing to keep yourself warm or heat resistant clothing to keep yourself cool. And there's like there's something else that I was going to say, but I can't remember. There's like a trading system. There's like merchants and stuff that'll walk around. You can buy and sell stuff. There's a lot.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, like, I that is one thing that I feel like this is something that Pokemon's just kind of like missing out on is that
Actually, Helix, you can teach moves.
You can teach moves. Interesting.
No, you can. He says you can't teach moves. There's no evolutions, and there's less stat contributions. Yes to the last two. The first one, there are these fruits that you can find that teach Pokemon or teach the pals different moves. They're rare, but you can find them on certain trees and certain enemies, and you can give them to the pals and teach them different moves.
And so it's also One Piece because they learn new things via
fruits.
Fruits.
Yeah, they have the gum fruits, and there's a lot of things that this game takes from. But it's I bought it Friday when it came out, and it's been I think 48 hours ago or something, and I've spent 26 hours in the game.
Yes.
So in 2 days, I've spent a day playing the game.
So I guess like here comes like the big question, because like we could talk about like we can talk about what a game has, what a game does, etc. But like the true
What a game has, what a game wants. Sorry.
Good Lord, I just felt myself travel back to 1998. What was that? But what I was gonna say is the true merit, the true greatness of a game comes down to how much fun is it? Like, how much fun is Pal World?
So the problem I had with Pokemon was there was not really like a set in stone quest system.
Yes.
It was you go do this, then you go do that, and you progress through doing all the gems. And that's what Pal World does is you beat the first tower, and then it doesn't tell you where the other towers are. So there's a lot of exploration.
Right.
And it like for me that's like I've always liked Minecraft because of you start in one place and then you can just go.
Right.
and you can explore and find cool things and do cool things, and that's what this game is really,
Mm-hmm.
is finding and exploring and crafting and all that. The fact that I've spent 26 hours in it
Mm-hmm.
in the past 2 days should pretty much say that, yeah, it's a very enjoyable game. You have to kind of look past all of the stuff that it is, but it
Mm-hmm.
isn't. But like, if you were just to look, like, well, like I told you, this is something that I know for a fact that you would probably like.
I mean, I'm not against it. I think I probably might enjoy it as well. So like, I guess, so you.
I think the biggest thing though is if you do play this game,
Mm,
like the biggest thing is it makes it seem like you get guns really quick in the game, and guns aren't something you get till later.
mm-hmm.
Don't try to rush and get guns, because if you like look up, oh, how to get overpowered weapons and stuff, that like takes away from the game so quickly.
I see. I see. Okay. So, I guess another question I have is how sweaty is it? Like, is there like competitions against other players, etc.? Like,
I've not played in the multiplayer,
mm-hmm.
but I've got a bunch of these things called Toko Toko,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like these really colorful green and black chicken things that blow up. And as soon as I play multiplayer, if I can take my like party from my single player into multiplayer, I'm just bringing a bunch of Toko Toko because they blow up for like 900,000 damage.
Ooh, that is a lot. Holy cow. Is
Yeah,
that a lot in Pal World? I don't know. Like,
yeah, yeah. When like a normal weapon, like a spear or a crossbow, does like a spear usually does like 50 to 100.
mm,
Crossbow does like 400. 900,000 is pretty good.
yeah. So in the beginning, it's a grind, but after a couple of hours, it gets better, says Helix. A lot of
Yeah,
potential. Guns are definitely not needed, but they help. Each world is self-contained, to my knowledge. All right, so we got a lot of good things for Pal World. I whenever something like just really blows up like Pal World did in its launch, I'm usually like, let me be skeptical about it. Uh,
yeah,
for
and that's fair,
Yeah.
because a lot of stuff, it's like
You see a lot
what's
of
the one
game of the
ups
week,
what it was, the game that Obsidian put out.
Mm,
Was it Outer Worlds? That was what like that game got so overhyped by
mm.
the community because they were like, it's Fallout New Vegas in space, and Obsidian was like, it's not. Don't say that. And then it came out and everybody's playing it for like a week,
Mm,
and then you never heard anything about it afterwards because it was
exactly.
it was like a flavor of the week type thing.
Yes.
This is I would say this is probably going to be like on par with like Pokemon Go, where it sticks around for like maybe a couple months, and it's like the flavor of the week for maybe a couple months, and then it will start to like die off in popularity, and the people who enjoy playing it will keep playing it.
Gotcha.
But like it, I can honestly say it's probably isn't going to be just like a it's done tomorrow type thing, because
Okay.
like you said, when you put these slides in for this, there was 21,000 reviews, and since then there's been an additional 9,000
Mm-hmm.
posted.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. Like, because that was definitely like my biggest concern is, and it is with any game that kind of like gets super popular out of the gate, especially something from like a developer that you've never heard about before. You see, like, hey, this
Yeah,
is popular because it's weird and quirky, and then like a week later, nobody cares anymore, right?
but
Uh,
they had posted about, the developer posted about like the making this a while back, and people were like, that's weird.
I remember seeing
But
it a while back. Yeah, like I remember seeing like as a matter of fact, the guns is what I saw a while back, and everybody was like, "Haha, this is funny because it's so quirky and edgy." And I was like, "It's okay," But like, it's good to see it having a good launch weekend. I'm definitely excited to see more of it, and I would like to see it stick around. I mean, now that I've seen, like the different things that it has to offer. This is the kind of thing that I'm like, yeah, let's be innovative in this direction, right? Let's take things that we love and take them up to a next level. Pokemon has been lacking a good sandbox world forever. They tried with Scarlet and Violet, but that was such a shit attempt, a shit first attempt at it, right? That Power World nailing it, I hope will motivate them to do better in the future. But
Well, that's it's. Gamma says DLCs. There's plenty of like, because this is a completely new world.
right,
So it's not like the Pokemon world, which has already been established, and they can kind of add on as long as they're not like taking away from the already established stuff.
right,
They can do so much with this game in the form of DLCs,
yeah,
and uh, also, yeah, Helix said that they're putting up numbers that are comparable to not Borderlands 3, Baldur's Gate 3,
hmm.
which is, yeah, they're like, if you if you go to Twitch right now, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
just
like
looking
the
at
whole
like the
first page,
main page, it's, yeah,
it's all
you got
Pal
League of
World.
Legends, you got League of Legends at 500,000 viewers, just chatting at 500,000, and then Pal Worlds is third place
Dang.
at 340,000. So it's pretty good right now.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I hope to see it stick around for sure. And
Yeah,
I guess let's change some gears here. Um, the anime award season is upon us, and yeah, so there's all kinds of different awards that are up for grabs right now, and on the Crunchyroll Anime Awards for 2024. And I've submitted my ballot for 2024, which it's weird to say like I've submitted my ballot because you can technically vote every day until the actual awards show. But yeah, this is basically what my breakdown is. I have 7 votes for Bochi the Rock, which you and I watched together.
yeah.
We have 3 votes for One Piece, 2 votes for Trigun Stampede, Jujutsu Kaisen, Spy Family, Psalm 100, and Tomo-chan is a Girl. And 1 vote each for Suzume, The Witch from Mercury, Mushoku Tensei, My Happy Marriage, and My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. So just
All of my votes went into Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds.
all of my votes go to Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. That's not a bad one. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, if I'm not mistaken, is like one of the most popular here in the States. I think
I
with
think the only thing more popular than 5Ds would probably be GX, but
probably I think that
or
Sexel
if
is the most popular in Japan.
that's the well, the Japanese voice actors are not horrible.
Mm,
Which I'm not saying that the American voice actors are horrible. I just think that the voices given to the characters were not.
mm,
Whenever you take in
mm,
and translate stuff,
mm.
the translations when you can't like translate it properly, so you're just like, yeah, we'll just have him say something random here, and we'll have him repeat it because he needs a catchphrase. It's like,
Date payo.
high five the sky. I'm feeling the flow.
Throw down a face down. I think the
Pot
one
of
that
greed. What does it do?
I think the one that like caught on the most was That's Game. I think that was like a Jaden Yuki thing that just kind of like stuck around.
Well, see, that one is actually, I would say, arguably better than what he said in the Japanese version. Because in the Japanese version, I believe you just point at him and say "gotcha" or something like that.
Gotcha,
Where
sucker.
where where him pointing and going, "That's game." It's just kind of like it's like him being just cocky and badass at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Yuma and Zexel had a catchphrase in the Japanese, but they were just like, let's give them some catchphrases. I'm feeling the flow. Let's high five the sky. It's, it's like those are weird. Why are you saying that? Stop it.
Because we can. But so yeah, just to kind of like drop here a couple of different categories that we have. This is the full list. We have Anime of the Year, Best Original Anime, Best Cinematography, Best Action, Main Character, Best Score, Best Voice Artist Performance in English and Japanese, Continuing Series, Best Animation, Art Direction, Fantasy, Supporting Character, Opening Sequence, New Series, Character Design, Romance, Drama, one that they call the Must Protect at All Cost Character, uh, Best Ending Sequence, the Best Film, Director, Comedy, Slice of Life, the Best Anime Song, and that's it. So those are all the categories. It's a whole bunch of them. And I think that the one that merits the most discussion is definitely Anime of the Year, because that one kind of encompasses all of them, or at least most of what all these other categories would be, right? Um, so just to kind of like put here, like the six that have been nominated for Anime of the Year have been Oshinoko, which is the drama series from the creator of Kaguya-sama Love is War, Aka Akasaka. There's Chainsaw Man. There's Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. There's Demon Slayer, the Swordsmith Village arc. There's Vinland Saga. And lastly, there is Bochi the Rock, which is the one that I voted for. But all of these basically, like, I feel encompass the whole entirety of like all the other categories. So, like, hey, this will be like your best cinematography, your best direction, your best music, etc., etc. Because, like, honestly, if you're gonna be the best anime, you kind of need a lot of those things in your corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's 25 categories, and that's what we got.
They're all Yu-Gi-Oh!
All of
5Ds.
them are Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I personally think that that Bochi the Rock should take best anime, but that's me. I'm biased towards it. Best main character, I think, is another one that deserves some talk. Because what we have here is Denji from Chainsaw Man, and you're gonna see a lot of the same ones from Best Anime here. We have Bochi from Bochi the Rock. We got Mob from Mob Psycho 100, Aaron Yeager from Attack on Titan, Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, and Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. So just yeah, like they're kind of the iconic characters that kind of like took over like the scene in 2023. But yeah, that's my thoughts for what do you call it? The Crunchyroll Anime Awards. What anime do you want to see nominated?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Mon
Yu
Digi Vault.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Man, King of Canadian Hill is here. Uh,
King of the Canadian Hill. That's my vote right there.
yes,
He's my favorite anime.
he is my favorite anime too. But Here's a discussion that
So
I wanted to have because
I
this kind of
I
blew
had
up
to
on.
look him up to see like what kind of content he usually makes.
Hmm.
I can see why he's upset that this got leaked because I he does a bunch of anime voice acting beatboxing videos
Oh, okay.
and rap battles, and it's just like, so your channel's like directed at like
At a younger
the
demographic.
teenage like
Yeah.
area. uh and this probably doesn't look too good whenever you have a not safe for work animation done
You know,
of.
can I just say that not safe for work is kind of like really stretched here because I'm like, this is the most vanilla thing that I've ever seen.
The first like half of it or so, yeah, but the second half of it,
I feel like the
like
last
have you have the last like probably 30
minute,
seconds or
yeah,
so,
like, yeah.
like last minute to 30 seconds or whatever,
Hmm.
that's the not safe for work part,
Yeah.
and it's still not even like horrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible at
But
all. It's so
at the same time, when you have 5.5 million subscribers,
yeah.
and that is something that gets leaked that you spent $50,000 on,
Oh boy.
it's oh,
$50,000 is a lot of tacos.
like why would you one spend that much money on something
Who did
that
he even get to do it? Because I mean, $50,000, and like, don't get me wrong, the animation was not bad. It was really good, but like, I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, man, $50,000, and this is all you got? I was like, dude, $50,000, you could have given it to Derpixon, and he would have promoted. He would have given you like a hell of a lot more. Like,
whoa,
I'm just
this
saying.
like I wow, okay, I didn't think you would just go 0 to 100 there. Yeah. So okay, so a little off track. That
Yes.
hit me almost as hard as like whenever I'm sitting in like mod chat for like one of the streamers I'm on for, and someone comes in and they post like a weird looking sussy emote, and I look and it says like Derpixon, or another one is Zone, and it's just like, oh god, why are you people degenerates?
I mean, Zone is another one. Yes, like Zone and their Pixon, you could have given them 50K and they would have
Did,
produced something
did you
so much.
did you know that they stream on Twitch?
I had no idea. Do they?
Yes, and they're monetized on Twitch, and they have emotes. And
Oh my god.
someone came in the chat the other day. It was posting the mime and dash emotes.
uh.
So it's just kind of like, wow, that's a thing, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just saying, like, shoot, what is the? I'm gonna have to look this up. What is it called? Oh yeah, the so for example.
Oh, it's Bon and Shu. Those are the mimes.
Oh no, that's not what I was looking for. But yeah, I see you know your stuff. I was talking. I was looking for. So Derpixon did like a man, like it was like a solid 30-minute video for like a thing that he created called Fandle Tales, and I was like, for 50K, you could have had yourself a Fandle Tales level animation, and it would have been just like amazing. But I'm showing my degeneracy live on YouTube, so let's move on. Uh. So yes, this has to be embarrassing because like it's my understanding that he did this for himself. This was something for his own personal use, his own personal collection, and at some point it got leaked by some means. Don't know who leaked it or why, but like it made its way onto the internet, and then just imagine, like you purchase something for your own personal use at home. You don't want to be judged, and then next thing you know, everybody knows about it. This has to be embarrassing as hell, and I don't know what else to say about it, dude. Like honestly, like I feel like 50K is a little steep. But I mean, if you have the money, I don't know.
No, even if you have the money, I don't think you spend it on that.
I mean, if you have the money, I mean, like, who are we to tell you how to spend it, right? I mean, like, obviously make good choices, but like, I don't know how to feel about like, because that is a massive amount, dude. That's a car, like a fancy car at that.
Yeah, that's like a really good card.
That's a really
It,
good car.
it's why would you spend $50,000 on a 3-minute video?
Mhm. So
I guess he has the disposable income though,
I
so
suppose so.
can't really like fault him for it.
It's my understanding that he has a Patreon, and I kind of wonder like what the Patreon subscribers are like. Is this what we paid for with our subscription?
I'm I'm betting that's how it got leaked. Was he put it on his Patreon as like a "this is what you guys helped pay for"
Oh,
type thing,
can you
and then
imagine?
he was, and then somebody was just like, "Wow, this is going on the internet."
Yeah, yeah, and I found it on Twitter because everybody was talking about it last week, and in my head I don't know what I expected. I expected a lot worse, and what I got was basically a music video akin to what you would see on MTV, right? Like it's just like there is
Well,
sexual
the
suggestiveness, but
way
like it's
the
so
way people
mild.
have been talking about it, it makes it seem like it's hardcore porn,
It does, yes, but
and it's nothing even close to that.
not even a little bit. No, if anything, it's a thirsty video, right? But like,
Yes,
it's like so vanilla in its thirst that like I can't. So
just waiting for you to be like, "I've seen better."
well, I have, but that said, I mean, like, what would you spend 50K on there? Like, if you had 50K to do an animation, what would that
A new
animation be?
car. I I would not. I would get a new car because my current car is shit.
Okay, well that is a good choice. Getting a new car is definitely something that a lot of people would do if they had the 50K to burn. If we had to be limited to an animation, I definitely would probably spend it on a theme song, like an opening sequence for this podcast. I feel like it would be fun to have like an animated opening sequence, like anime style. And that's probably what I would spend it on if it had to be limited to an animation. Um, heck, I might even divide it at that point. Be like 25K for an opening, 25K for an ending. Like get two out of it. But yeah,
Or do 5K for an opening, 5K for an ending, and take the other 40,000 and get a new car.
yeah. Oh man. So yeah, like I feel a little bad for Burvalays, because like it is kind of the thing that like hey, we're all people. We like things. And sometimes you have money you can spend on things, but like it'd be embarrassing if it got out there like the kind of things that you spend money on when people aren't looking, right? Like for
Yeah,
example,
that's the problem with being like
in the
in
public
his
eye.
position of 5.5 million subscribers. You can't really do this
Mm-hmm.
without it getting leaked in some way, shape, or form, and then the repercussions are now on Twitter.
Yeah.
You said that he was trying to like silence anyone who was posting it, and like if you just go hashtag verbalize on Twitter, it's
Oh, it's everywhere,
nothing
dude.
nothing but people reposting the video and people posting memes of the video.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. This is just like an embarrassing mishap, and I hope he bounces back. I mean, like it's kind of like like if somebody catches you with like naughty pictures on your phone, right? When you didn't think people were looking. It's kind of that. It's like it's embarrassing, but I hope you bounce back. Like it is what it is. We all like things. And hey, you know what? For a choice of character to do a thirst video for, Charlie Morningstar is not a bad choice. It's yeah.
I don't know if you want me to agree with you on that or what you're looking for, but
Could be one of those people who want a Pokemon game where you breed with Gardevoir. I mean, like it could have been way worse.
okay, I will admit it could have been way worse. I'm not going to agree with you, but I will admit it could have been way
It
worse.
could have been way worse. But moving on, I guess we're switching gears to card games now. And
Konami's releasing new fuckable cards.
and Konami's releasing new fuckable cards. The new
We
mommy
haven't moved
cards.
on at all.
It's just Dia Bellstar is getting additional cards that do things with her engine. I guess this is like
I'm looking at the name right now. I would place money that it does not stay bills of the original sin.
I would place money on it too. Like the some cards. I mean, like the religious connotation is what they would look to take out of it, and so sinful spoils, staying sinful spoils, made me feel like they probably would be okay with being like, oh, of the original sin. They seem to be getting a little more lax with the censoring in that department. Um, but yeah, Diabel's feels weird to say. I think they might change her name.
Well, it's supposed to be like what, Beelzebub or something. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be like that type of name, but
Well, which one's Diabel star supposed to be?
I don't, I don't think it's actually supposed to be in relation to those, but like Beals,
It's like,
there's two of them. There's the, I was gonna say the good one and the bad one, but they're really both kind of bad, aren't they?
I suppose so. I mean, like sinful spoils of the original sin, all that. It kind of gives the connotation that they're both maybe like demons or witches or something. Yeah, but
And they also had, well, no, I was gonna say they had, well, Crime and Punishment, but those they did have their names changed
yeah.
because it was number 31 and number 13,
Mm.
Cain and Abel. They got changed to uh,
Crime and Punishment.
Crime and Punishment.
Wow. So this new mommy card, Diabel's of the original sin, is a light illusion effect monster, level 7, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. You can only special summon it with its effect once per turn. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first effect says, if there is a Sinful Spoils card in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's pretty good. And since the Sinful Spoils engine is kind of like splashable in a lot of things, you kind of see this as almost like you run it almost just as an extender that you are almost guaranteed to hit every time.
But we don't. The people who have the money to
No,
actually
yes,
pay for this do.
agreed. Yes, if I had 50K, I would do a video. Anyway,
My max rarity Fire King deck,
yes,
it's actually cost me $48,000.
yeah, exactly.
Please like and subscribe for my 48,000 deck tech.
The second effect says your opponent cannot activate spells or trap cards that were not set, which is actually kind of kick ass. This is a really, really good effect.
They can't activate spells or traps that were not set.
That were not set. So things from your hand is just a no go.
A better that's a better anti spell.
It's a better anti spell, yes.
Because you're also stopping imperm and evenly and do we have tripwire or whatever the, not tripwire, I can't remember, there's I think Red Reboot.
Red Reboot is banned.
I was gonna say, is that one that's still banned, or
yeah,
do we have it at one?
So like when you look at this is a
I'm just trying to think of the traps you can activate from hand.
Right, and you notice that this is not like a trigger effect. This is just like a lingering effect type situation. So like once she's on the field, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps that weren't set. This is a really obnoxious floodgate if they manage to put this on the field going first, because
it's going to be a secret rare and it's going to be at least probably $80.
Yeah, this is really, really good. If a spell or trap is set to the field while this monster is on the field, you can target one card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. So in addition to not allowing you to activate spells or traps that weren't set, if you happen to set a spell or trap, your opponent gets the option to pop one. Which is just, this is going to be a really frustrating thing to deal with going into, post Legacy of Destruction. This is going to be so annoying. But I don't know. How do you feel about it? This is a floodgate on a monster with really, really high stats. How do you deal with this? What would you do? Like, to out this because I am having the hardest time thinking about anything because I'm like my first thought is like Raigeki, Lightning Storm, like
Well, see, that's what I was thinking too, because I believe normal spells you can set and activate on the same turn. Quick plays,
oh,
quick plays, you can't.
I hadn't thought of that.
I, I'm pretty sure like normal spells are allowed to be set and then activated.
They are.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
No, they are 100%. Yeah, that is true. And it's like the thing that I didn't think about and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, there it is." I mean, like you run the you run the chance that they might activate the pop effect and then just kind of like pop it when you set it, but you don't know, like that is
Okay, yeah. So I had to look up anti spell to make sure that like anti spell was preventing it.
mhm.
Uh, so this does not prevent you from activating normal spells because anti spell says both players must set spell cards before activating them
Mhm.
and cannot activate them until the next turn after they were set.
Right.
So this doesn't say that you have to wait. So you can set a Raigeki and then activate the Raigeki.
That's pretty good. I like it. So next up
But
we
that
have
means you have to main deck Raigeki if
you
your
do.
opponents are going to be playing this.
You do.
It's still really good though.
You could like part of me is like like oh lightning storm's better but like you're never gonna summon this in attack position so like there's no point. Also I don't think that lightning storm would be usable if you set it right because it's like if you control no if you control no cards but like if you have it set right.
Well, yeah, I think you have to control no cards
Right.
to activate Lightning Storm.
Yeah. So the next card in this package is a trap card, and it is called Sinful Spoil Cycle. It is a normal trap. It says you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Take one level 5 or higher illusion monster from your deck, which, hey, the new mommy card happens to be, and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Hey, that, lets you special summon it right out of the gate. If summoned
You
this way,
can use Lightning Storm because
oh,
it's if you control no face up cards.
oh, perfect. If summoned this way, it cannot activate its effects during the main phase this turn. Okay, so that's a little bit of a downside, sure. The second effect says, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-down card you control, return it to the hand, then you can set one spell trap from your hand. I like this card. Suddenly I'm thinking like, oh, wow, Labyrinth really benefits from this. Labyrinth
It's a
really...
trap card.
Yeah. And like as a matter of fact you can even splash the diabels into the deck and it still works because like you just have to have like a sinful spoils thing and like getting this into the graveyard is not hard using a furniture card. So I mean like just this is really good and it prevents Labyrinth from being outed with like a feather duster or some shit a little bit because your opponent would have to set it first and yeah, so like that's it doesn't prevent it from being outed, but you can definitely like take measures to stop your opponent from doing stuff with it. I'm liking
It's
this.
interesting.
What's that?
It's interesting, but like it's a trap card.
True, but the effect in the graveyard doesn't have. You don't have to set it in order for it to activate that.
No.
No, so I mean, like I'm liking what I'm seeing, but there is a third one. Uh, it's another mommy card. Please donate to our Patreon to stop Bart from talking about mommies. And this one is called Sinful Spoils of Dozing Morrigan. And it's another normal trap. It says you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name per turn and only once per turn. First effect says target one face-up special summon monster, change it to face-down defense position. Hey, that's solid. That's Book of Moon. It's really good.
You know what's even better than that?
Book of Moon, because you can activate it from hand, unless Diabels is on the field, in which case you have to set it. And since Book of Moon is a quick play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you would have to wait until the next turn. So the second half of this card says, if you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster, and this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So you get it's
So it's the Book of Solar Eclipse or whatever
yeah,
the double Book of Moon ones.
it's a Book of Moon that you can reuse once. So I like these cards, and it's really really cool. Hmm. What I don't like is that I know that everyone and their mama is going to be running that Dia Bells just because of like that spell trap floodgate, and that's going to be obnoxious as hell to deal with.
Well, not everybody, because the rest of the deck is going to cost $500 plus.
Okay, so you're not going to beat the rich people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll beat the guy at locals who got lucky and pulled one of them from his box. But
right.
the rest of everybody else is not going to be playing this because it's probably. uh, I'm pretty sure the traps will probably be lower rarity stuff like commons and
Probably.
or supers, but like definitely I would say the monster is going to be a secret probably.
Yeah, and
It's too good to not be a
it
secret.
is extremely good. Yes, and oh man, all I can think to myself is, I'm like, man, I really hope that next reprint season just goes crazy and just gives us all this stuff for cheap. Not this stuff, obviously, because it's too early in the year. This isn't going to be until next year till we see reprints. But like we're gonna see the hopefully like the original Diabell Star stuff like in reprints this year. Hopefully, fingers
Well,
crossed.
the next rarity collection's already supposed to have confirmed all of the alternate arts
Mm,
that were like the gold rare only
mm.
alternate arts. So we'll
Yes.
get like the IP Masquerena on the motorcycle that's not gold rare, the Danger Bigfoot, the I think there's like two or three Ghost Girls. So hopefully that's good.
Yeah, and speaking of like the what's it called rarity collection, we do have it was announced that we're getting rarity collection 2 Electric Boogaloo. So that's
Want to
good.
see me take card prices? Want to see me do it again? Konami, I would love to see tank card prices.
Same. I would love to see Konami tank card prices again, dude. Like this is just too good. Uh,
Like they really did some good when the first set they came out with. That I was like, this is a well welcomed change of pace of your product.
mm,
Was Dual Devastator
yeah.
because you got one of each of the staple hand traps and then a bunch of other really good cards. So if you bought three, you had a playset of every staple for I think $60.
Hmm.
At the time Ash Blossoms were like $30 each, so it was really good. It tanked the prices of a bunch of the staples down to about $20 per Ash Blossom.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
it was good. And then Rarity Collection 1 comes out, and you get all these staples reprinted in a bunch of different cool rarities. And what do you know? It tanks the price, but it makes the more competitive game more accessible to people with less money.
Agreed. And dude, like all the staples that you pulled out of the rarity collection is just like, ah, yes. And
I have 10 Barons.
no, I know,
I
right?
got I have 10 Barons and like all the hand traps. I've got like multiple play sets except for Ash Blossoms. I cannot fucking pull Ash Blossoms for
Yeah.
the life of me.
I pulled like a collector's rare Ash Blossom out of that, so I was like super happy about that. Uh, but the new rarity collection, like you mentioned, comes with the alternate arts that we got in Maximum Gold, but they're not going to be the gold rares that people are really on the fence about. Like I see people say they like them, but most of the people say they don't. So we're going to have the IP Masquerena, Droll Lockbird, etc., etc. But it also comes out another one that I saw that I was like, I was so surprised that this was not included in any reprints this year was Access Code Talker. I was like, yes, like why not? I'm like, please, because like Borreload Savage Dragon got reprinted in Monstrous Revenge, and Appaloosa too, I think, and so like a lot of like your little staple extra deck monsters, like got a lot of reprints last year. Draco Berserker of the
X
Tenyi, like the only one that didn't was Access Code Talker.
Access Code Talker, those had quite a few different uh, reprints already, though, I believe.
Uh,
Having an alternate. Oh, he's got three.
he's got three.
He's. Yeah.
The
But
original, like
having
Cyberstorm,
like an alternate art access code talker, that would be kind of cool.
would be kind of cool. I would enjoy that. Brother Gamma says Mana Moon. He sees Mana Moon doing a light and dark version deck box for Diabell Star and Diabells. Yeah, I'd like to see it. But next up, we got I got Road Rage again. We got a new what's it called? Not Rescue Ace. That's the other race archetype. This is Gold Pride. New Gold Pride card.
This is Gold Pride.
This is Gold Pride, yes. Hold on, I'm actually in the process of pulling up what the effect is. Uh, let's see. New Gold Pride, Legacy of Destruction. All right, let's see here. Here it is. So it's two new Gold Pride cards. There's a main deck monster and an extra deck synchro. So the main deck one is called Gold Pride Assassinator. It's a level 5 Earth Machine Tuner, 1800 attack, 800 defense. It says you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If your life points are less than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then you can banish one other Gold Pride monster from your hand, face up field or graveyard to special summon one Gold Pride token. It's a dark machine with 0 attack, 0 defense, with the same level as the banished monster. For the rest of this turn, if you would use this card as fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link material, you can only use it as material for a Gold Pride fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link summon. So, kind of like a weird roundabout Sword Soul of Moye. It creates a token, and you can use it for a synchro summon, but only for the synchro summon of a Gold Pride monster. And then, let's see. The other one is a level 8 Dark Warrior Synchro monster, 2700 attack, 1700 defense, Gold Pride Annihilator. It requires 1 tuner and 1 plus non-tuner monsters for its summon. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 1 fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster on the field. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can target 2 of those monsters instead. Destroy those monsters. And then the second part says, during the end phase of the turn you activated the first effect of this card, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon 1 Gold Pride Assassinator from your deck or graveyard. So it's extra deck monster hate on a quick effect, provided that your life points are lower than your opponent's, which, if you're playing Gold Pride, you're going to make sure that that's the case.
I don't know much about Gold Pride other than they make Big Purple Ball and Big Purple Ball go burr.
Yeah.
But they look cool.
Mm-hmm.
It looks, there's Purple Guy and there's Purple Guy Transformer.
Yeah, so, Purple Guy and Purple Guy with blades, yes. If you look on the Reddit, everybody kind of says that, yeah, this is pretty good. It's not terrible. I'm like, there is other things that the deck could benefit from, but as far as support goes, this is good. Somebody calls it Gold Pride of Taya. I mentioned Moye because of the way that it does things, but no, Taya is more correct because it banishes from the graveyard. But yeah, kind of cool. I recently got my hands on all of the Gold Pride core from like my locals, so I'm looking forward to adding this to my deck too. But yeah, it's really solid. A couple of things that we talked about just now involving the new Diabells card, which is more than likely going to be super, super hard to get, and also like the Rarity Collection tanking card prices, kind of leads into this next thing that I wanted to talk about, that head-to-head battles, which are Yugi-tubers on YouTube, posted this tweet where they said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is cheap. Competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not. Stop mixing these two. Any hobby, if you want to compete at the highest level, has a cost. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is cheap. And the overarching response to this from people replying to it was no. So, out of curiosity, Daryl, what's your feelings on this?
What are your feelings on it first? Because I want to hear what you say.
And so I play Yu-Gi-Oh in two different capacities. I do play competitively at locals, but I also play just kitchen table Yu-Gi-Oh with friends. When I play kitchen table Yu-Gi-Oh with friends, my deck has no need to be as optimized as possible. I can get by with choosing cheap alternatives for certain things. I can get by with not putting in for example, I have Fire Kings, but I don't have the Diabellstar engine. I run a Dogmatic of Fire Kings and it works fine. So whenever I'm playing kitchen table Yu-Gi-Oh, my decks are as cheap as possible. I think my Fire King deck cost the cost of the structures plus some Dogmatica stuff that I already had. So not expensive in the slightest. $30 plus some, right? Whenever I go to locals, I play Labyrinth, and I'm looking at things like transaction rollback, which presently is at $60+ depending on where you're looking. And that card would make my deck go crazy. And as I said before, whenever I was looking at the Diabell's stuff, um, it would also benefit my Labyrinth deck. And all I'm thinking about is let's see, the Sinful Spoils package starts with like $70 per one card, and I'm thinking that this one's going to be kind of the same. So, and additionally, even though Labyrinth is my competitive deck, I don't have Chaos Angel, which is a card that goes in every Labyrinth deck that I've gone up against, and Chaos Angel itself is in the neighborhood of like 70-80 bucks also. So to maximize the competitiveness of my Labyrinth deck, I would have to spend in the neighborhood of another 400 bucks, and I don't want to do that. So as far as competitive Yu-Gi-Oh being expensive, I believe that's true. Uh, as far as Yu-Gi-Oh itself being expensive, I've seen what friends spend on commander decks for Magic, and comparatively, a Yu-Gi-Oh deck is pennies on the dollar. It is not the same cost whatsoever. And I'm talking about I'm not talking about competitive EDH either. I'm talking about just your regular. I'm gonna go hang with the boys and play EDH, and those decks get expensive really fast, especially because they're 100 cards a piece, and Magic has kind of this tendency to not reprint things as liberally as Yu-Gi-Oh does. So those decks, even if they're composed of a bunch of cards that aren't really that expensive, they're also going to be cards that are not easy to come by because they haven't been reprinted in forever, and therefore they have a very high price tag. I'm looking at I like the One Piece card game, and I've tried playing the One Piece card game, but really early on I was floodgated out of the or gate kept out of the competitive scene because Yellow Katakuri at the time was running for like $60 a piece, and you needed four of them. And in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Um, and I hear that Digimon and is inexpensive. While I was trying to play Digimon, it wasn't. Pokemon by and large is the cheapest card game to get into, and it has been that way forever. So I've dabbled in a bunch of different card games, and in my head, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh is among the cheapest, unless you want to play competitively, at which point it kind of skyrockets very easily. So that's my take. I don't think that they're wrong. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is cheap and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is not. It really comes down to how you want to play the game. Also, I should mention that Master Duel is free to play. I mean, honestly, all Master Duel costs is time. So if you have time, you can get competitive on Master Duel pretty easily.
I found probably the best response to this
Mm.
was apparently people are having an issue with any hobby. If you want to compete at the highest level, has a cost, and there was a response which I sent it to in DM. Stevie Blunder, who is another YouTuber, put
Mm.
hobbies that can be enjoyed at high level for cheap: writing, music, chess, origami, knitting, hiking, magic, as
As
in
in
tricks,
tricks,
not
not
the
the
game.
card.
And, and they responded by saying, the and there are hobbies that are expensive as well: cars, watches, PC gaming, tabletop gaming. Fucking MBT is just like, I'm gonna compete at high level watches.
With the highest level watch. Uh,
It is, it, yeah. For Yu-Gi-Oh, there is like, well, we were complaining earlier about how the top meta deck is like a $500+ deck,
mm,
and it's like it. You can't deny that competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is expensive. It's always been expensive.
mm-hmm,
Like if you go back to like when I quit originally,
mm-hmm.
it was in Teledad format, which a kid could not play Teledad format
Nope.
because it was a $2,000 deck. And then I think Necros format was like the next like multi-$1,000 format, and then you had the Zodiac format, which $1,000 format. Dragon Rulers was expensive, so it's like all the formats where there's like a defined top tier deck. These are always going to be expensive, and like a rogue deck has no place
Mm-hmm.
in like this type of format.
Agreed.
So yeah, there's casual, have fun with your friends, which is cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's competitive, which is not cheap. But to like, I don't know if they're just sick of hearing people say that at their locals or on their comment section.
I think that this was a
But
response to cards such as Bonfire and Transaction Rollback, which recently were announced, and like and their
which
pre-sale
recently were
prices
released
were
in,
released, yeah, and their
yeah.
pre-sale prices were insane. So it actually caused a bit of a discussion in the Yu-Gi-Oh community as like, why do we let this happen? And a lot of like Yu-Gi tubers got real tired of hearing about like, yeah, hey, you know what, new cards expensive. And I think
Well,
that this is a response to that.
you can blame the fucking market watch people for that, because pre-sale prices. If we, I'm pulling up Bonfire right now to look at the uh, latest sales,
Mm.
and if we go back to, oh God, how far am I gonna have to scroll? Let's see, pre-sales. If you go to like actual history, people are buying the card at like $80 and $90. There's very few people for pre-sales. There's one person who bought them for 130. He bought three copies for 130. Two people, three people, four people, five, six, seven, eight. There's like a handful of people who pre-sold bought a playset for over $100,
Yeah.
and these are like the quote unquote whales of Yu-Gi-Oh
Mm-hmm.
that they'll go on Match Duel and spend $50,000 to get
The
royal
full
rares of
royal
every
rare.
card.
Yeah.
But like, those are pre-sale prices.
Mm-hmm.
The price is down to $77 now, and
That's
people
still a
aren't.
lot.
It's still a lot, but like, I I have to. If this is in response to like the pre-sale prices,
Mm-hmm.
like, I've always hated when people discuss pre-sale prices, because if you go on Thursday when the set comes out
Mm-hmm.
and someone gets a card that you want, and you're like, well, I'll trade this for you because it's not going to be worth anything after pre-sale, they will still look at the pre-sale price and be like, well, no, this Ashoka Pillar says it's $8.
Right.
You know what Ashoka Pillar is now?
What's that?
Ashoka Pillar, which was pre-selling for $8,
Mm-hmm.
is 18 cents plus shipping.
Ooh. Yikes. Yeah.
So all of those people who had the big brain idea to pre-sale buy it for more than $1 just lost out so much money. Which I'm going back here. Uh, on the 9th, they had a person who bought it for $10. There's someone who bought a playset for $10 each. On the 10th and the 15th, and then the 17th, there's a handful of people that bought it for like $3 each.
Right.
And you know what? The pre-sale prices are only from people. There's like a handful of stores that will open and then put pre-sale prices up.
Right.
As soon as the like release date comes around and the stores are able to sell everything, that's when you have the other 400 people who have their product already opened and sorted will put it on TCG Player because they don't want to deal with the whole pre-saling stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. And I hadn't thought about what you said, but I think I agree with what you're saying. That it's, if anything, we got to blame the market watch people, because they're the ones that artificially inflate like these prices. Like a card would be a card, and like it once released, in in play at locals and testing, etc., it would prove its worth, and then you would go ahead and get it whenever like it's been proven to be functional in the way that you hope it to be. But yeah, like there's a lot of things that do not do that. Like I remember like the I waited to get the Labyrinth Butler whenever it was first announced, because I knew that people were gonna be like, oh man, Labyrinth #1, and I'm like, historically, any Labyrinth card that I've gotten has made the deck better, sure, but like it has always gone down in price significantly the weeks following its release. I think the only one that wasn't that way was Welcome Labyrinth and Ariana the Labyrinth Servant, which actually went up in price for a little bit of time until they were reprinted. But
The thing that, like, the market watch people, they do good and bad
yeah.
because like the problem is you have a situation where an old card or a new card or something is discovered to be good.
Hmm.
Example, Mushroom Man #2
Right.
with Kashtira.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what this card is except for the people who came up with the idea. Then you have Mr. Market Watch who sees, well, for some reason, Mushroom Man is going up, or someone in their Discord says Mushroom Man is going up. You need to look at it. And now you have a person with thousands upon thousands of people watching them who say, well, this card's going up because it's good for Kashtira. And now you have people that are flocking to CCD Player to buy out a card from Metal Raiders, and Mushroom Man went from being a 30-cent card to being, I think, $4 or $5
Right. Uh,
because Kashtira.
and you know what? It's gonna keep happening every time that a deck takes off, and it can make use of like something that previously had no use. That thing's gonna spike in price. It is.
I remember when the Mushroom Man spike happened.
Mm.
One of my friends at locals was playing Cash, and he needed to have. He was like, "I need a Mushroom Man," so it's just like, I'll see if the shop has them. The shop had like 20 copies for 10 cents because apparently they didn't know. So I was like, I want to buy all 20 of these. And the owner was like, why? And it's like, I
No
just like
reason.
them.
Don't worry
And
about it.
then he checked, he rung me up, and then he like looked on TCG Player, and he's like, oh, these are $5 each. I already charged 10 cents each, so that's fine. It's like,
Nice.
I'll sell these back to you for $100.
Man. Well, that's basically like my thoughts on this, and like it is a subject that I feel like we're gonna continue to discuss, so long as Yu-Gi-Oh has like players playing, because it is, unfortunately, it is what it is. Like Gamma in the chat does mention that Triple Tactics Thrust, which is a card that was previously one of those that's like, hey, if you want to win, you need to play this, and it's expensive, has been slated for a reprint already, which is, in my opinion, good.
It
And
was reprinted in this set.
in
In
this
the
set,
set that, yeah, Triple Tactics Thrust is in Maze of Millennia.
oh,
It's
son of a
40.
gun.
It's $41.
I did not know this. All right, cool. So, like, yeah, it's $41, a little more affordable than what it was before. It's still a lot.
I think it was like 80 or 90 before. So yeah, it brought the price down by half.
Yeah, still a lot, but not as bad as it was before. But yeah, we'll continue discussing this. But one thing I wanted to say before we conclude today, Dare. So I just looked on Twitter, and apparently we've been hit with a sensitive content warning whenever I posted the thumbnail for this video, because you mentioned that like you put Charlie from Hazbin Hotel on the thumbnail. And mind you,
Yeah.
look at the tweet. It says nothing about anything. This is just like Charlie from Hazbin Hotel with the tagline 50K, and suddenly like we have been flagged with a content warning.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, Bart, is it's not like a secret on Twitter. Everybody and their brother is aware of this by now.
Oh, this is so funny. I love this. Oh man, but with all else being said, thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, sub, and share. And I just wanted to ask a couple of things of our viewers. Have you watched Trigun Stampede? Please let us know what you thought of it. Did you watch the original Trigun? What was it like? Like comparing the two. Pal World. Have you played Pal World? What are your thoughts on it? Is it Pokemon at home, or is there something entirely new to this game? Like how are you enjoying it? Who did you vote for in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards? Did you vote? Like, what was missed in the ballot that you would like to see added? What are your thoughts on Vervelace? What would you spend 50K on that it wasn't, as opposed to this?
Are you just giving them like a fucking 30 question essay to write?
I am. What are your thoughts on Legacy of Destruction and the new Diabell's cards? And lastly, are Yu-Gi-Oh prices too expensive, regardless of what kind of Yu-Gi-Oh you play, whether it's casual or competitive? Please let us know in the comments down below. And until next time, I have been the Midnight Bard.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Adios.
Bye.